Welcome to the Age of Jeremy YouTube channel. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the co-founder and CFO of a business called 3T Warrior Academy that I started with my business partner, CJV, also known as Coach JV. He's also my best friend, and we have an amazing YouTube channel. We have an amazing monthly subscription service for our Warrior Academy. But if you want to check out some of the content that we have, go over to our 3T Warrior Academy YouTube channel or our 3T Behind the Lens YouTube channel, and you can see all the great stuff that we're doing there. We have great content from Coach JV about all of his economic research, macroeconomic research into the crypto space and the banking space, into where the world is headed, the World Economic Forum, and things of that nature. We also have our Good Morning Crypto show that comes on Monday through Friday, and I believe it is 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock Eastern time, I think it is. I'm in Arizona, but we base a lot of stuff on Eastern time because that's where a lot of our team members are located. I also am the co-founder and CEO of a business called Age of Radio, which I started with my good friend, Coach JV, as you guessed it. And we have a podcast network. We have over 100 podcasts on it. So check it out at ageofradio.com. And if you're interested in joining our podcast network, go ahead and reach out to me. You can also join our Facebook group, Addicted to Podcasting. It's a great place for content creators to go and share their projects. We have a show in there called Showcase, which you can learn more about getting on the showcase and sharing your projects, whether you're part of the Age of Radio network or not. It's just a place for content creators to come together and share value. And then last, before I get into this video, I want to talk about Merlin. Merlin is the smartest way to track your crypto. It's coming out from a company that I own called Blockheads, so make sure that you check that out. Go over to Get Merlin Crypto on Twitter, and you can get a link there to get to our landing page. So you can also get it at merlincrypto.com right now if you want to head on over there too. But I think it'd be great if you went over to the Twitter channel first and did it through there. So that being said, I want to talk to you a little bit today about kind of like where I started out and how I ended up with these businesses. It's not something that I talk about. I don't share my story. I don't try to go out there and speak about it. Something that I am working on, and so I wanted to share it with each of you here on YouTube, and not like my story, like all the hardships that I had, but some of the decisions that I made that helped me go from essentially not knowing what I was going to do with my life to kind of getting to be able to work in the banking industry, where I met CJV and how I actually started our 3T Warrior Academy. So when I was growing up, we were not very well off. I grew up in a place called Maryville here in, it's a town in Phoenix, Arizona, essentially. Most people don't think of it as like a great town to be from. I liked growing up in Maryville. I didn't have a problem with it. I went to Trevor Brown High School. It's one of the two main high schools in Maryville. There's Maryville High School, but I lived in a certain spot where I had to go to Trevor Brown High School. And to be honest, I didn't actually finish high school. I dropped out of high school when I was 16 years old because I wanted to pursue a music career, and that's what I tried to do for many years. Kind of not super successful at it. We made some great songs. We played some great gigs. We kind of started getting into the space where we could get a record deal and start playing. Some of my songs were on some of the local radio stations here in Arizona, and this was back in the 90s into the early 2000s. So we didn't even have MySpace really at the time, so that's how old it was. And we really focused on acoustic rock, and that's where I wanted my life to go. But unfortunately, I have what most people would consider a disease that runs in our family called alcoholism. And so I was prone to drinking a lot. And so alcohol and not hanging out with the right people led me down a bad path. And so to kind of get away from everything, I moved to Flagstaff. Luckily in Flagstaff, I reconnected with someone that I had known in high school. Her name was Danielle. She's my beautiful wife, and one of the most important people, or the most important person in my life. And she has stood by me since then. We have been together now for 16 or 17 years, I believe. And so I'm super, super grateful for her. Time really flies. That's why I never remember. But I love her dearly. And I'm very grateful that we were able to reconnect in Flagstaff. So I lived there for a little bit. I kept drinking. I tried to go back to school. Didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. I was constantly in and out of school. And by school, I mean college. I did get my GED right away. My problem within high school was that I just don't like people telling me what to do. I like learning at my own pace. I like doing my own thing. And high school just didn't vibe with me. And so when I was 16, I was lucky enough, I guess, not sure if it was the best decision, but I did drop out of high school. You have to have your mother's consent to do it. So I got that. and I just kind of focused on music until I moved to Flagstaff, reconnected with my wife, tried to focus on music again, and then decided if I was going to do anything with my life, I at that time felt that I needed to get an education. And a lot of people will say that's the lie that we feed ourselves, that we need to go to college. I don't know whether it's the best thing for everybody to do. I know that it was the best thing for me to do because it really helped put me in positions that I am in now. And it propelled me or put me in positions where I capitalized on luck that came in, right? The luck of meeting CJV, the luck of him wanting to go and do his own thing. And I capitalized on those opportunities, right? And so the education was really important. So I went and got a bachelor's degree in finance. I went and got a bachelor's degree in accounting from Arizona State University at their W.P. Carey School of Business. And then I went to the DeMoore, at the time, it didn't have a name to it, but it was for Northeastern University, and now it's the D.Amore Kim Business School, I think is what it's called now, Northeastern University. Don't get mad at me. I'm so sorry that I forgot what the business school is called now. And so essentially I went there for my master's in business administration. It's a college that's based out in Boston. I was able to get in just because of my grades, and I was able to do my MBA online, and then I also got a graduate certificate in marketing. And so while I was doing all that before I went into master's school, I wanted to start my own business. And I started my own business. I was doing a multi-level marketing business. I was also planning on starting a personal advising business because I was going to school for finance, right? And so at that time, everything was going good. I was starting to figure out what I was doing, learning how to build stock portfolios, learning, everything that they teach you in the last, years of finance school, which is about portfolio analysis and, options and derivatives and things like that. And that's really what I wanted to do. And unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, two things happened. One, I had some decent amount of money saved up in my stock portfolio, and I didn't have a lot of bills, right? But the bad news is I did get diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and the mindset for me was that I should get access, which is like state health care. So I tried to go get access here in Arizona, and because I had that money in that stock portfolio and the cash that I had, they didn't qualify me for it, right? It's like I had too much money and I made too much money essentially, but I didn't have enough money to either buy the insurance based off of what it was cost, or at least in my mind I didn't think that. When I looked into it, I didn't think maybe I could afford it. And I also looked at it and said, or I could pay the cash for this medicine, but it was outrageous because you have to have two different types of medicine when you're a type 1 diabetic. You have to have fast-acting insulin. You have to have long-lasting insulin. Then you have to have all the stuff to monitor your blood and so forth. And so it adds up pretty quick. So I said, okay, well, let me just find a place where I can work the rest of my life where I can get health insurance, and I'll just make that my career, and maybe later on I'll start a business. And so I started working for a bank, a Fortune 100 bank, I guess you would call it. Started working for a bank, and everything just started working out really well. But the bad thing was I wasn't focusing on money. I was focusing on, safety. And so because I was focused on safety, I wouldn't take chances. I didn't try to go outside of the bank. I didn't try to move up as fast as I should have in the bank. And so I just went on this weird trajectory from teller to banker to service manager to branch manager or store manager to relationship manager to commercial banker. And so that's where I went. And at the end of it, I was making really good money. I was really happy with kind of where I could have gone with the bank. But the great thing about it was I learned that if people ask you for help, you help them. And that's something that's been ingrained in me since I was a child. If you have a skill set that someone else doesn't have, and you can teach it to them, or you can help them with it, then that's something that you should do. And that's what I did when CJV came, and he asked me to help with banking school. Banking school is essentially just like finance school for the most part. They teach you about net present value and how to assess a project, and that's what you have to do during the financial portion of the banking school. And then there's other parts of banking school that aren't like finance school, but the part that he needed help with was just finance school. And so I helped CJV out with that and helped him, get the stuff that he wasn't that wasn't connecting for him, and helped him get through that banking school. And so because of that, we built this good bond because we would meet on Sundays. We would talk at night. I would help him. I would look at his papers. I would, teach him how to do stuff, right? And so because of that, we built a strong bond. So when he was starting to see all the problems that were going on with the banking system, said, this isn't right. I should get out of this and go through my true calling, right? And at the time, we thought that it kind of was his true calling, right? But we didn't see it how it looks today if you follow Coach JV on TikTok, right, or on the YouTube channel. And so we started this thing called JV Impacts, and it was about him being a motivational speaker, me helping with all the audio and the finance stuff. And we would just see what would happen with it. And so in 2017, we started that, and then it morphed into 3T Fitness, where we have our fitness studio in Mesa, and it morphed into what is now 3T Warrior Academy, and now we have Uncommon 1%, we have Age of Radio, we have Blockheads, we have My Finance Institution, Cube Financial, we have all other kinds of things that have stemmed up from inside of the Warrior Academy. I think it's like fully 9 businesses in all. And most of those we own, some of them that we've helped get started. And Collecting Labs is another great one, an NFT incubator that we're working on. And so there's just all of this amazing stuff that I was able to achieve. And the reason why I was able to achieve it is what I want to talk about today. The number one thing that I think that took me from zero to success, and again, I don't want to harp on anybody that says that you shouldn't get an education. If I hadn't gotten my college degree, in my bachelor's degrees in finance and accounting and my master's degree, I don't think that I would have been in a place where I can lead the businesses the way that I'm leading them now. There's managerial aspects that you're taught inside of a business school that was very, very beneficial for me. And that knowledge, you can go without going to college. You can learn without going to college. But I think that you position yourself better with the college because it's structured, it's teaching you in a specific way, and you learn it. Now, that being said, you don't need to go to college to be wealthy. And I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't go to college. I'm saying for me, that's what helped change the trajectory of my life. And because of that, I'm a big advocate for people looking at getting an education. Not only just for the fact that you can utilize it, the knowledge that you learn and build a business from it, I believe, no matter what it is that you learn in college, along with some business knowledge, you can create a business, right? It also helps me understand tolerance of different viewpoints, help myself to research and understand different things that are happening. And so all around, I think that the college experience for me was very beneficial. I didn't drink when I was in college. It was just about the education and the knowledge. And that's really what I love. And that's really what I took away from it and where I benefited from it. So that was the first thing. The second thing is the fact that I'm always willing to help people, right? People say that success is this. A lot of people believe that success is just a lot of hard work. Yeah, success does take a lot of hard work, but it also takes being in the right place at the right time. And I think that to be in the right place at the right time is to make sure that you're saying yes to helping people. And when you do that, you build really good bonds, and those people will take you along the way with you for the most part. And that's one of the benefits of and luck that I had with being friends with CJV, is that we have a good loyalty with each other and bond with each other, that we will continue to work with each other and go with each other where the other one is trying to go in life and what they're trying to create. And so that's the second thing, is make sure that you're open to helping people and being able to be there for people, to teach them, to love them, to show compassion for them, so that you can make sure that you don't miss out on opportunities that you could have otherwise had. And I think that those two things are the biggest things that have really separated, myself from not being successful in my life. And it sounds so weird that it's just those two things, right? Or those two things that really moved me gave me the right momentum to where I needed to be. And then the third thing is don't go over crazy with stuff, right? When money starts coming in, don't look at it. Don't start spending it as fast as you can do it, as fast as you get it. Have a plan for it. I see sometimes with people that they make that money, and I've met people in this journey that I've had that make that money and then they spend it, and then they're always trying to chase money. The biggest thing that I look at and what I tell people to do is chase solutions to problems. Look at the world around you and find out what problems aren't being met, what isn't happening. And when you find that, is that something that I believe that I can solve based off of my current skill set? Or is it something I believe that I can solve if I go and find someone who has that skill set? And if I do that, then I will solve a problem, and that is where wealth comes from, right? You don't want to always be chasing money. People are like, oh, I get $100,000, I spend it, I need to go get another $100,000. Yes, your business should always be focused on bringing in that revenue and not all of the weird stuff. But when you like, and by weird stuff I mean like worrying about, you know, the books. You need to have good books, but like don't like make that the prime thing. Focus on how you can get this thing to market, how you can start making money for it. And when you go to market, if that thing solves a really big problem, then you're going to make massive amounts of wealth. And just don't waste it, right? Have a plan for what's happening, right? So we live very modestly. This house, I think, is only 1,700 square feet. It's less than $200,000 that I owe on it. And we will be buying more properties here in different places here over the next year, and we'll be starting to build a real estate portfolio. But it's not like that. That's what I'm doing with the money that I have, right? And so, but when I get it, I don't focus on wasting it. It's either going to go into create more assets or be in a place where it benefits my family in the long run by having a place where we can go have family meetings at, you know, our place in, say, Connecticut or Flagstaff or something along those lines, right? So always make sure that you have a plan for your money as it starts to come in, or you're just going to waste it and you're always going to be chasing money. The fourth thing that has really helped set me apart is that even though I got my education, I'm still in love with learning. You have to fall in love with learning so that you can create new skills that you can then use those to create new solutions, so that then you can push you and your family and your businesses and whatever it is that you want forward. So like I learned how to code in Java. I'm learning how to use Adobe XD to help do some of the front end stuff for some software that we're working on for Age of Radio. I've learned how to build Android apps, right? And I may not be the person that like has to do the actual coding, but to understand the process then makes it easier when I go and I get the person that is a master in Java or in C# or whatever it is. I have an understanding what the fuck they're talking about so that I can help guide them on what it is that I'm doing. And so I'm not saying that you need to go and learn software. I would recommend it, but I'm just saying go make sure that you are learning. Like right now, I'm also trying to learn Spanish because at one point I would like to go into the Spanish market. I also believe that it's part of my culture from being from El Salvador that I should know Spanish. And so always be learning because it keeps your mind sharp and it helps you then also be able to put yourself in other positions where you will be able to know something and meet someone and help them, and then they can become part of your big network that you have, right? So that's the fourth thing. And the fifth thing is, I know it's going to sound corny, but freaking give. Give as much as you can to the things that you believe in, because giving is amazing. And I know that people are like, oh, well, don't do it if you're just doing it to make yourself feel better. I don't give a fuck why you give. Just give to make the world a better place, whether it's money or time. Just give back to the communities in the world because we are all connected together. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. That's a little bit about me, how I kind of got to where I'm at in a brief overview, and then also those things that I think that are really important to helping set myself apart and making myself successful and getting me to where I'm at today, and the things that are going to help get me to the next level in the future. So remember, be thankful, grateful, and kind. Like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to see more of this. Drop a comment. Let me know some of the things that have helped you be successful, and we will talk with you next time. Bye.